Stay away from the dead body.
I've gone through a lot. I lost 9 of my family, my mother, my wife, my brothers and sisters. All of them died.
Memories of those dead bodies, cause fear to us.
People were actually attributing the many deaths to a witch plane.
I face something, stigma in the community.
The Ebola epidemic hit West Africa hard in March 2014.
There are more than 1,000 cases of Ebola.
Schools were shut, streets, businesses, and beaches became bare. Curfews and the ABC rule to avoid body contact restricted touching, especially dead bodies. Fear, stigma, myths, loss, and unfathomable trauma spread as fast as the virus.
We're all connected, right?
To address such threats in mental health and well-being, I went to Sierra Leone to help provide psychosocial support, as I'd done after many disasters worldwide. Partnering with the humanitarian organization IsraAid, we conducted trainings and workshops for children, communities, burial teams, healthcare workers, and many groups. Nearly a year later, by November of 2015, when I returned to the country, now Ebola-free, it looked like a new world. With bustling streets, busy stalls, packed buses, weddings, people hugging with the ban on touch lifted, schools reopened,
I want to be a doctor.
and beaches packed with people.
It's after 6 o'clock, which was the curfew time during Ebola days, but now people are congregating, they're hanging out at the beach. Life looks like it's back to normal on the outside, but it's not the same story on the inside.
Don't know where to sleep, even to eat.
People stigmatize us that we are Ebola workers.
Some of my friends, for instance, they run away from me.
I'm out of the job. We don't have a place to live. We are in the streets right now. So I'm not happy about that.
As I'm talking now, my side is aching, my stomach, my head.
The women, they lost their husbands. Yeah, say, but look, you are still having the virus in your system, so I cannot accept you anymore. You need to go and find your colleague survivor. But as for me, I'm going for another.
Research proves psychological problems are long-lasting after crisis. It's the reason why my colleagues and I raised consciousness about the psychosocial issues in Ebola at this panel at the United Nations, organized by Voices of African Mothers, and at this forum at the UN in December 2014 that I co-organized in my role as chair of the Psychology Coalition, with sponsorship and panelists from many missions to the United Nations, Liberia, Guinea, Uganda, the US, as well as NGOs and UN agencies like UNICEF and WHO. All that inspired my trip to the Ebola-stricken region to help build resilience and capacity, with the efforts earning the blessing of high-level officials. But it wasn't my first time in troubled Sierra Leone, as I had been there after the Civil War, doing radio shows about HIV/AIDS awareness throughout the country, with Search for Common Ground and their famous Talking Drum studio. To counteract hopelessness from the drastic disease, my songwriting partners and I wrote a theme song about hope that caught on with so many groups in the height of the epidemic, like this burial team, that they would always remember. Hope, yes, but the mental health and psychosocial needs in the region are drastic.
In these countries, all of them had less than one psychiatrist per 1 million population. And of course, we have about 25% of people likely going to develop mental illness during their lifetime.
Considering the fact that they were psychologically traumatized after the war, and then during the course of Ebola, more traumatic events took place.
The importance and the impact of mental health here in Sierra Leone is evident at this conference, the 4th annual Mental Health Conference. And the theme, which is very appropriate for this post-Ebola period, is Building Back Better.
There's an approach that we are using, which we call ACT.
Local presenters joined international experts who came from countries like the UK, Spain, the Netherlands, and the US to present their work in many partnerships with local Sierra Leoneans.
We try to highlight some of the mental health conditions
Some international aid organizations are sadly leaving the country by the end of 2015 with contracts and funding ended, but local programs are taking a lead to boost psychosocial recovery, like the Survivors Association, supported by the Ministry of Social Welfare.
We educate people through our testimony. We can just talk to people. We render some psychosocial support, and also for the livelihood capacity building.
You survive for a purpose.
The big help that we normally help is of our colleagues in terms of knowing their challenges and also their problems.
The best advice about using condom is, first of all, engaging my partner.
Yeah.
I will engage her before we enter the room.
Yeah.
Where we're going to have our private time.
Yeah.
I will teach her, sensitize her about the importance of using condom.
What is Ebola doing?
In this play, the Freetown players enact how community members affected by Ebola, like a nurse, survivor, burial team member, and a helpline operator, appeal to the village chief to be accepted back into the community. In another inspiring project, former burial team member and a street kid, Mohammed Kamara, founded an organization, Artists United for Children and Youth Development.
We're using music, art, and other forms of art to do advocacy, to address a lot of issues like social therapy. Like we were dancing right now, so all of us were happy.
I think we're breaking through. I really think there's now open arms and open hands to what we do.
More good news. The Mental Health Coalition's new Building Back Better program is ongoing, with trainings and advocacy. A new master's program in counseling started at McKinney University. And the program I co-developed during Ebola for Children's Resilience and Empowerment is being rolled out in many districts, with activities addressing safety.
If a child says, I am safe, you are safe, we are all safe, it brings a positive attitude in all the kids we are dealing with.
And strength building, like being strong as a tree.
All what they have gone through, they still have resilience, they still have their inner core.
And creating community cohesion.
When the pen is on your fingers, now you have to watch the entire group to make sure that everybody is at the same pace.
Yet another encouraging project is this girls' camp, supported by the First Lady of Sierra Leone in partnership with UNFPA. 52 girls from around the country come to week-long sessions about issues like climate change, waste management, and importantly, self-esteem.
We want to see that girls' ability, confidence, self-confidence, and self-esteem has been built.
In this session led by IsraAid, the girls react to videos with important messages.
You are worthy of love and affection.
Who wants to start? What connects me with the movie was that it says that I am worthy of love and affection.
My motto is in the movie. My motto is always, I'm awesome. And because I'm awesome means I'm brilliant, I'm smart, I can change the world.
I'm a star, I'm a diamond. As for myself, I'm a solution to this nation.
What Israel did today in our camp was a very great motivation for us as girls.
Speaking of being awesome, Mariam went to the United Nations in New York during the 2015 General Assembly.
Teenage pregnancy, the Ebola crisis that devastated all our sectors.
Celebrating heroes. It's a major theme in Ebola recovery, as evident in this billboard campaign. Indeed, Ebola survivors are heroes.
We have something to do for the country.
Government officials who stepped up to the plate are heroes.
I quarantine homes in the absence of medical teams coming in.
All responders, helpers, and the people are heroes.
I just want you to know that you did an amazing thing for everybody and for your country.
Despite advances, there is much to be done and many needs.
What we look for from the government's part is to also make the necessary changes in the national constitution that discriminates and stigmatizes against people who are mentally ill.
We need counseling. We need medical support.
The money is not enough for us.
I'm asking you guys for you to support these orphans in the schools right? Because some of them are need in some of these textbooks, scholarships, school fees.
We have worked for our country, but yet still people are not appreciating us.
I need some love.
But ultimately, hope is alive.
And keep telling the international world that there is still life. And I'm happy that we are in the promised land. You love me, I love you, hope is alive.
But we are survivors, so we will survive. We're gonna dance together, hope is alive.
Love each other, hope is alive.
We kick the ball, we beat the ball, hope is alive.
Gonna smile together, hope is alive.
Gonna smile.
Sing together, hope is alive. Gotta hug each other, hold together, hope is alive.
Love together, hope is alive. Yes, I'm a Sierra Leonean, a true Sierra Leonean. Yes, I've gone through war.